nurses and 3 aides for first and second shift, 2 nurses for third shift, and then it would be 1 less aide. So I'm trying to keep you employed as long as possible. So by no means, we all know, all we're required to do on A-Wing would be 1 nurse and 2 aides. We are by far going more than that, just so that we can try to help keep an income going in for you as long as possible. But that's your choice, that's what you'll have to weigh out. There's been questions to me on the weekend warriors. We will not be able to follow the schedules of what you used to do as a weekend warrior. We'll still have weekend warrior, but that's gonna mean every other Saturday and Sunday unless plenty of people are offering for the layoff, because schedules will only be done 7 to 10 days at a time, starting probably the end of next week. Once we have a better idea, my goal is by Thursday the 9th, we know how many residents are left. You know, is that answer, let's say 15? Then from there, we know, okay, you know, we'll set out the next schedule for 10 days, and that'll choose who's the, let's just say first shift, 2 nurses and the 3 aides. Trying to give you notice. I know it's awful. Nobody wants to go week by week. We are encouraging the residents. The ombudsman are either here daily or they are on the phone with me every day, even at night. They are following our residents to their new nursing homes. They are very involved. They report to Ohio Department of Health constantly how many residents have discharged. They're well aware of moving everybody to A-Wing, so that basically our goal is we're gonna pamper them with 3 aides and 2 nurses, and if we're down to 15 or 16 residents, they better be treated like they're in the Hilton Hotel, because that's what we're trying to do, to make it a good daily situation for them as best as we can. We're July 10th. It seems far away, but at the same point, it's very close. But, I mean, people are asking me, can they stay till July 10th? You all know the rumors. There's many things happening behind the scenes that I'm not privileged to know, but it's at the state level. Will it get reversed? I don't know. Will somebody be able to override state legislation and keep us open? We don't know. All I know is people that have nothing to do with Hardin County are working very hard to try to make that happen. So, hope is not completely lost yet. All right, any questions? Yes?
If there's not enough volunteers, how do you decide who goes? Do you go by seniority?
No, it does not go by seniority. We're not a union facility. So it will go by the needs of each shift. So like whoever's predominantly first shift, those are the employees, you know, we start with. Who's on second shift, who's on third shift. The attorneys are working up the paperwork. We've hired an employment specialist who is drawing up the paperwork, but seniority has nothing to do with it. Next question? Yes.
You said Weekend Warriors, it's gonna go to every other weekend?
No. What I said is, well, maybe if I did say it that way, we might have to put it every other week. We're not gonna need all the weekend warriors
Yeah.
currently that we have if we only have 15 residents. I'm just using that as an example. We'll have to work with each of you that are weekend warriors to figure out the mix. And, you know, I don't know yet until I know who is voluntarily wanting to be laid off. I keep hearing different rumors, but that's why do I need to have it in writing? Because we can't figure out a schedule till I know really you are positive you want to volunteer for the layoff.
I have a question for him. If you take a voluntary layoff, does that hurt your unemployment?
If the employers agree that you're off due to lack of work, you're still off due.
Right, no. According to what prosecutor, our employment law attorney, all the different what's been involved, it will not hurt your unemployment. Because I would be signing the paperwork saying it's agreed upon. That's why the paper I just passed out, if you take that voluntary layoff, you will need a copy for your records in case anybody at unemployment questioned it. Okay, so that's your proof of us saying, you know, it was voluntary, but we are paying you that retention bonus.
So what are you gonna do if a resident decides that they don't wanna move up from D-Wing, like somebody who's more of an extensive help?
Okay.
Someone's just gonna have to go back there, how are we gonna know if they need something?
The aides from A-Wing, the nurses will have to make sure that the aides from A-Wing or the nurses will be going back to D-Wing at a minimum every 2 hours. And that's what the families know. The ombudsman said that is the only requirement. ODH will have no problems with it because we are almost doubling the amount of staff we have to keep on A-Wing.
If we do take the voluntary layoff, are we gonna still get our holiday,
Okay, yes, ma'am? Yeah, you will get your as long as you've been here 1 year. We've had a couple confused about that. You have to be here 1 year, and you will still, if you have sick time, you've got the years of service in, you have sick time on the books, you're still going to get your sick time up to 600 hours. That is the cap on sick time.
Are we switching to 8-hour shifts?
That's up for you to vote on. If we don't have answers by 5 o'clock today, we are keeping 12-hour shifts.
Where are we voting?
Where's the?
You can give it to me or to Angela.
And those who stay will keep our full-time hours, right?
Pardon?
Those who stay, like don't volunteer, will keep our full-time hours.
I can't answer that yet because, I mean, there's gonna have to be layoffs. So what I will tell you that we know for sure, the full-time staff will be the ones who are working first, who are staying on the schedule.
When you say there's 2 nurses per shift, is that what's the minimum amount of residents? Or that's not gonna be dispatched?
That may be one resident
So you'll always, every day, we'll have 2 nurses
on the floor.
on the floor, day shift and night shift,
Well, yes, 24 hours around the clock.
even if there's 1 resident,
Yes,
7 days a week.
yes, ma'am.
So are the nurses, are we going to be on at 8 hours or 12?
That's what you vote, but it's majority. It's not gonna be, well, 2 of you want 8 and 4 of you want 12.
I don't know why we would ever go to 8-hour shifts and work more days to work less hours.
That's right.
That makes no sense.
Well, that's how I see it, but,
30 hours a week, 30 hours, is it full-time?
yes, ma'am, 30 hours is full-time.
But the policy sign says we have to remain at our same hours or more.
The policy.
Our severance package,
Oh.
yeah.
It says we remain at our same hours.
Or more,
Yeah.
unless it gives me the right to say, okay, maybe, you know, with 1 resident, we're not gonna need 3 aides. We're always gonna keep the 2 nurses, okay? Because if there's a crisis, whatever is going on, so the 2 nurses will always be there around the clock. But if we only got 1 patient, we're not gonna have 3 aides. It's confusing, honestly, it's just about every day it keeps changing with all the lawyers involved, trying to make sure we are doing the right thing. We are in a unique situation being a county home. There are only 7 of us left. With us closing, that takes us to 6. Now I'm talking skilled facilities. That's why there are many people behind the scenes working at the state level to try to save this county home. Because we're a dying breed. The only thing we don't know is if these other people and the attorneys that they have hired can make it happen fast enough within the Ohio Department of Health. Special legislation will have to be drawn up by the governor and the Ohio Department of Health to make an exception for us to be able to stay open. But again, not Hardin Hills, outside people are working on that with their attorneys, is still trying to keep the doors open. Any other questions? If this was it was overwhelming to me to hear everything he said. If you feel you want to come back to the 1 o'clock for bits and pieces or 2 o'clock, you are welcome.